Around 1 p.m. on September 29, 1927, children in the St. Louis Public Schools had just finished their lunch break when an F3 tornado caused damage at Columbia Elementary School and destroyed Central High School. After the tragedy, the board president said that the heroic efforts of teachers and custodians saved hundreds of additional lives that day. No matter what the source of the hazard, we as a school district must recognize and prepare for emergencies.
This is not the same America it used to be. There are many, many threats, more threats than we've ever had before.
We have to make sure that we are prepared for any type of emergency that should occur.
The St. Louis Public Schools, in cooperation with the U.S. Department of Education, the St. Louis City Emergency Management Agency, the police, fire, and health departments, the American Red Cross, the Mayor's Office, and the Missouri Department of Mental Health has developed a comprehensive emergency management plan for our schools.
We have in our safekeeping 30,000 lives, depending on us making appropriate plans so that in a time of emergency, we can in fact keep them safe.
The St. Louis Public Schools has received a grant from the U.S. Department of Education's Office of Safe and Drug-Free Schools.
It allows us now to go into every school within the St. Louis public school system and in the city of St. Louis to some of the private schools to enhance all the programs that we're doing for emergency management and to allow us to work with those outside agencies in an even flow.
The district will develop an infrastructure that ensures continuation of plan improvement, train staff at the administrative and school levels, and continue training in coming years.
There are 5 phases of emergency management. The first phase is prevention, which is analyzing the hazards that you face and eliminating those that you can. The second phase is mitigation, which means to make yourself less vulnerable to the hazards you can eliminate. The third phase is preparation, which is basically developing a plan, training the plan, and then exercising the plan. The fourth phase is response, which is taking the plan you've got and implementing it in a real disaster. And the fifth phase is recovery, which happens after the disaster, really, and it returns us to normal operations.
I initiated the assistance of my custodian, and we went around the whole building, looking at the doors, looking at the exits, things where that were a concern to me.
What we do is we look at the whole facility and make sure that there's nothing that will impede our students and our staff from being safe in that building.
The other thing that I did was also looking at the needs of the students. Were there any students that had special needs or any staff members that had special needs?
Here at Gateway Michael School, we have students with special needs. And so we have to have the staff present and available to work one-on-one with those students. Each one of our students has an emergency evacuation plan in their IEP of what happens when there is an emergency.
ESOL students are students who have another language in their home. Most of them have come from another country. One of the first steps the district took, along with the support of the ESOL program, was having the emergency response brochures that are being sent home to all the families translated into the main languages, and those are Bosnian, Spanish, and Vietnamese.
The plan of action depends on the organization and training of personnel. The teachers and staff at each of the St. Louis Public Schools are divided into 5 teams who are trained to look for potential hazards and risks ahead of time, take action during an emergency to ensure the safety of children, and provide support after an emergency.
Once I alert the team captains of what's going on, then they're in place to let everyone else know that's what's going on.
We have safety officers in some of the schools. We selected to have a security team to assist in those areas.
One of my responsibilities is to get in place to make sure that the students stay calm, to make sure that the directions are known where students are supposed to go, and make sure that they get to the meeting area safely and quickly.
My responsibilities are to make sure that the perimeter is clear and make sure that we have no intruders coming in when at the moment of emergency.
We train other staff to help assist the nurses, and even sometimes when the nurses aren't there for emergency situations, we want them to be able to do the greatest amount of good for the greatest number of people.
A quality that I feel is important to be a first aid member is team play. You have to be honest and caring. The training has made me more aware of my surroundings, more aware of the people, and to think what can happen.
First responsibility as search and rescue is to assess the damage. Is it safe for anyone to go in and search for people?
Their personal safety is a primary concern. They're professional teachers, they're not professional firefighters, professional search and rescue people.
Very small fires we're trained to put out. We always work with a team member we work with fire.
And as soon as first responders come on scene, they're going to share the information and hand over the activity to the firefighters.
During an emergency, someone would refer a client or someone who experienced this crisis to us, and we would evaluate them.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is to find out what is actually upsetting this student, you know, what that fear is that they have. And during the weeks after an emergency, maybe I could go around and find out if I need to set up some small groups, you know, maybe even grief counseling groups.
The role of the reunification team is to get students back with the parents safely and in a calm manner. The most important thing that our team members are trained in is to make sure we have an accurate accounting of students, to remain calm, and to work with the mental health and the social work and the teachers to make sure that we, again, have an accurate accounting of students and we know where students are so that when parents come to pick up their student, there is a minimum of confusion.
It's a real credit to the city that their school district has taken this on, and the whole community has gotten involved in a very positive way.
Being a firefighter for the St. Louis Fire Department, I enjoy doing this and helping them out. That way, when we come on the scene and we have a job to do, it may not be the same as what they're doing, but it gives us a great place to start.
In the case of an emergency, I don't have to be as worried. I know that they are the adult. They're going to take care of my child in the building. I know that there are other people in the building who are there and are trained for the emergency situations.
I want their parents to know and to realize that since we do treat the children like they are at home, away from home, that they are safe. And I want the children to be able to come back and feel safe and feel happy and be able to learn.
As a city, we have pulled through crises in the past. Now, working together, we can be better prepared for the next emergency and be ready to protect our children.